Well, hey there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the coffee break. Glad you're back. Glad we're taking a moment to have a break, take a time out, be able to think and talk out loud and share with each other. Today, I just thought maybe I would share with you my experience I had recently with trying to figure out how to deal with going to the DMV. Well, you know the DMV has been closed off and on. Well, not off and on. It was closed, period. And I should preface this by saying that I went online to our website for the local DMV, and I made an appointment because I wanted to update and renew my driver's license so that it fits the new standard for the Real ID driver's license, because everyone needs that in order to go into a government facility or get on a plane and travel anywhere in our country or even out of the country. It identifies you as a member of this country and that you are a citizen and resident of this country. So I knew I had to get that updated because they wanted to get it done by October of 2020. Well, my driver's license would have expired in September, and I knew that, but I wanted to plan this out in advance, okay? Just to make that clear, I was getting organized and planning to get things done in advance, and I made an appointment early this year for March. Early March. And all of a sudden, all kinds of things happened in March, as everyone is well aware of, and the DMV was among every other organization that had to shut down, and you weren't allowed to go. You couldn't get in touch with them or anything like that. But I did get an email canceling my appointment. And I thought maybe they might get in touch with me and reschedule it at a later date, but of course that's not how the DMV works, is it? So I just had to wait and wait and wait. And at some point, as things started opening back up again, I thought I heard that our local DMV was starting to take appointments again, and that maybe they would open up and then I could just go and renew my driver's license. It would still be in plenty of time. But in July, I did get an email saying that I would have to get my driver's license renewed in person for this new ID, Real ID. And I knew that. That's why I made the appointment earlier in March, because I knew I wanted to get that done. But it said this time, if you were caught in that limbo land, if you will, up until like mid-July, that you would have a grace period to get that done. But after that, you would have to appear in person. Well, if you go on the website at that time anyway, I went on the website and it said, you have to come in person to do this. But if you come in person, you're going to be turned away if you don't have an appointment. So you're going to have to make an appointment anyway. I thought, okay, well, I went ahead and tried to start the whole process all over again and make an appointment. And I'm sure many of you have already been through the same experience. You had to get something done at the DMV towards renewing your ID or getting an ID or something with renewing your driver's license or registrations, what have you. And it's been very difficult to get through the lines. I made the attempt to make a new appointment, and of course when I did this in July, it said the first available appointment would be October the 1st. And I thought, well, that's a whole month after my driver's license expired. So I didn't want to deal with an expired driver's license situation. So I called them up, and I actually got someone on the phone, and I explained to them the situation. I said, I'm one of those people who kind of falls on the cusp. I have no grace period, but I'm supposed to go in and get this done in person, and unfortunately my original reservation was canceled, and now the new reservation is a month too late. What do I do about that? And they said, well, you can go ahead and make the appointment and go in at that time and print out an extension letter, and that if anything should happen, if you get stopped or anything, you know, you can show them that, and also keep your reservation number, your appointment number, and they'll honor that. I thought that was okay, but you know, I'm not one of those people who don't quite trust the system. So I wanted to get it anyway. I said, are there any other options? She said, the only other option you have is to show up in person on Saturdays from 8 to 12. We'll make walk-ins from 8 to 12 on Saturday, and that's it. Well, I said, okay, I'll give it a whirl. So I showed up one Saturday in, I think, the last week of July, and I showed up at 7 o'clock, and the line for walk-ins was way around the building and winding around everywhere. So I thought, at 7 a.m., that's amazing. I decided I'm not staying for that. So that was week number 1. I went back for week number 2, but I was told by a friend of mine, why don't you try this other location? It probably won't be as busy. So I drove twice as far away to another DMV location and ended up getting there at 7 o'clock again because it was further away than I thought. And the same thing happened. There was a long line before 7 a.m. in the morning. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to sit in this line. And I stayed in that line for 4 hours. 4 hours. And I was just getting up to the door. I was probably 1,000 feet from the door when they shut everything down at 11:10. Now, they said they were taking walk-ins from 8 to 12. It's very misleading, just to let you know. Be prepared for them to shut down as long as they feel they are meeting capacity, and their capacity will take them up to 12 o'clock. They're not taking walk-ins up to 12 o'clock. They're taking walk-ins until they meet the capacity that would let them close at 12 o'clock. There's a big difference, and they don't tell you that. So really, they weren't open for 8 to 12, from 8 to 12. They were open more from 8 to 11. And so I didn't get in, and I wasn't prepared to sit in line all that day. I didn't have any water. It was very hot. I didn't have any suntan lotion, and I was holding a piece of paper over my head to keep the sun out and all that kind of stuff. What an experience. And so I said, the next week, I'm going to try it one more time. I got up at 4 a.m., folks. I did. I was determined to get this driver's license renewed before it expires. So I show up at the DMV at 4:40 in the morning. And do you know there was still a huge line? I was 110 in line that day. But that day I made it in, and I got my driver's license renewed in no time at all. And they were very good about, you know, social distancing and keeping things safe inside the building, but outside the building was another story. And that's why I wanted to have this coffee break with you, is to share the end of the story with you more than the beginning of the story, because it is interesting to me what is happening outside of the building as I was waiting. So this is the fun part I wanted to share. I mean, it was funny to me anyway, and I'm going to share it either way, so I hope you like it. When I showed up at 4:40 in the morning, I got in the line, and I had a chair, and I sat there, and I was all prepared to read or play games on my phone to occupy my time. There was a little couple. I don't know if they were actually a couple, but there were 2 people in front of me with a little girl. And they got in the line before me. And they did the same thing. They had chairs and everything. They were prepared to wait. But the guy in front of me was like smoking weed like a chain smoker. Marijuana. Smoking it nonstop and right in front of me, and it was blowing right towards me. It didn't have the respect or the courtesy to do what other people do when they smoke and step away from the building. There are certain rules now that require smokers to step well away from the building, but this guy wasn't doing that. And he was just smoking up a storm. And I thought, geez, I'm going to get high just standing in line, and I don't even smoke marijuana. Anyway, he was doing that, and then when he got done smoking a reefer or a joint or a doobie or whatever you want to call it, then he would pick up a regular cigarette and just start smoking. He was just a chain smoker. And so I was constantly, I had like 2 masks on, I was turned the other way, I was trying to keep the smoke out of my face and not complain, but I was just amazed. And he was doing this right there in front of his little girl and in front of everybody else. It didn't matter to him. Maybe he was a gangsta type, I don't know, but, and what does gangsta type mean anyway? But that was who he was, and you could tell it was his culture, it was his background, it was his experience, it's what he was comfortable with. So he expected everybody else to sort of go along with it. And in this world today, we have to sort of have some kind of understanding that people are going to be who they're going to be. I totally get that. You don't have to condone it or agree with it, but you have to agree to disagree a little bit and then move on past it if you can. But here I was at the DMV, kind of stuck in the middle of it. So that was part of the story. The second part of this story is that who showed up behind me but another couple, and they had a teenage daughter, and they decided to bring one of those Bluetooth speakers with them, and at 4:40 in the morning they had it turned on really loud and was blaring and blasting all kinds of rap type music, and every other word in the rap music was a curse word of some sorts, just profanity, you know. And what I found striking about that was that all the kids were just sitting there listening to it like everybody else and grooving along, tapping their feet and nodding their head and listening to this music that basically was saying, you know, women are built to do this with men, and men are going to come along and take them and do them. I mean, literally do them, and that's the way it is. And they would call them the B word, and I'm going to do what the F I want to do, and all that kind of stuff. This was nonstop at 4:40 in the morning, blaring this kind of music. And I don't like blaring music at 4:40 in the morning, let alone late at night. But I know it's going to happen in certain areas. But what struck me about this, and you can tell me if I'm kind of way off base here, was that they were doing this as if it was just a normal thing for them. And I totally get that. But they were doing it in a fashion that was exposing this kind of material and this kind of lifestyle to the children that they had with them, which there were a lot of children around. And I thought it's kind of sad to me on one level, because I feel like, well, yeah, you want to accept each other for who each other is, and recognize that everyone has a different background and a different culture. But do we want to share with the children that this is what is expected of them in life, that they have to behave and understand that men are for this and women are for that, and to throw that attitude around, and everything that these rap music songs were trying to convey? I just felt that it was teaching them not to be self-sufficient and mindful of other people, or independent and self-reliant of themselves. We weren't teaching the children that, and we are teaching the kids by example. So I thought maybe this was the thing that bothered me the most about being there at the DMV at 4:40 in the morning, having weed smoke coming into my face and rap music that was swearing at me and telling me what men are going to do to women in the bedroom, and teaching the children that that's what happens. And these were young children. I don't know if that's right or wrong, good, bad, or ugly. I prefer not to influence children in such a fashion, but I guess other people don't. And I just wanted to share that with you. So I'd love to know what your experiences are with that kind of a situation. It could be anywhere, not just at the DMV, but that's my DMV story from this year. I do have my driver's license. It is renewed, and I'm all set to go, and I don't have to sit there and wait for hours on end to get in and get it done. But I did have those experiences, and they were very profound to me, and I wanted to share this with you today. So, if you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. Love to hear your experiences, observations, and comments in the comment boxes below. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and share with everyone else, and we'll see you next time on our coffee break. Until then, I hope you have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.